like getting emotional. Therapy has made me soft. Okay, all right, hi everybody. Thanks for coming back. If you're new here, my name is Mickey. I am a therapist and we talk about therapist-y things on this channel. And if you like mental health and therapy stuff, you should subscribe and stay. Because I think I'm fun. Today we are making another installment of a video that I've made before called 5 Things Your Therapist Wants You to Know. We're doing 5 more things that your therapist wants you to know. These are fun. I think these are cute. And it seemed like you guys liked the last one, so we're talking about it again. Let's jump into it. I did double check the other video before I made the list for this video. So I'm like 99% sure that we're not repeating things. But if we did repeat something, be nice to me. So thing number 1 that I think it's important for therapy consumers to know, it's real hard to shock a therapist. I know that in therapy we're talking about nitty-gritty stuff and like your deep dark secrets, and so it can feel kind of scary and like overwhelming to just like come right out of the gate swinging with all of your stuff. And a lot of times there's a fear of being like a little bit much, and like you don't want to be the person who like, you know, spills your guts and whatever. Like, first of all, we love that shit. It makes our job so much easier. But second of all, we have like really heard a lot of stuff. And even like a therapist like me, you know, I don't have like decades of experience under my belt. And I have like really heard some whoppers. And so especially if your therapist has a lot more experience or is an older person, please rest assured, I promise you the things that you're going to share, that's not the craziest shit that they've ever heard. And even if it is, we're real good at Poker Face. There's a thing that they teach us in school called the weather affect, where we talk about crazy and scary and traumatic things like we're talking about the weather, like we're just talking about normal stuff, and we're really good at maintaining that cool, casual, easy breezy affect when we're talking about things that can be kind of shocking and wild. So I promise you that the way therapists respond to things in TV, like the therapist in Grey's Anatomy, that's not how we respond in real life. We're usually pretty good at maintaining composure, and so, you know, it's really, really hard to shock your therapist. And usually if we are shocked, it's like we're going to be shocked by something that somebody said that was hurtful to you, or like we will react to things that people have said that are like not cool, or like, you know, we'll react in a way that's like we're on your side and like we get you and we're like validating your emotions, but not in a way that will make you feel shamed or othered or stigmatized. We really, as a field, I would hope, try to be mindful of how our reactions and our body language and affect can cause you to feel. So yeah, it's real hard to shock a therapist. Thing number 2, this one's like maybe a little aggressive, but we can tell when you're lying. So part of our job and part of our training is in being able to read people's body language and being able to read patterns in people's verbal and nonverbal tells. So we know usually when you're lying. We're also really good at spotting inconsistencies. Most of us have a really good memory. And so oftentimes clients will do a thing where they will tell you a story and then they forget that they told you the story, and then they will come back and tell you the story again in a different way, leaving out key details that make them look nicer than they are or whatever. This is not necessary because your therapist is going to be on your side and like will be supportive and validating and still hold you to task and encourage you to take accountability. But like, you know, we're not going to be mean to you. You don't need to misrepresent the facts in order to make us like you. But also like we can tell when you're lying, so it's really not necessary for you to do that. Not that I want to say it's a waste of your time, because it's not. Like, it's a waste of your time. We can tell. And I think it's kind of an uncomfortable thing too, because now nobody really wants to be like, oh, so you're lying, you know? And it usually becomes necessary for us to have that conversation anyways. So it will get brought up usually at some point if it's like a significant enough lie. And so I do want to encourage you, if you find yourself telling untruths to your therapist, to maybe sit with that and like do some really conscious thinking about telling the truth and like experimenting with sharing little nuggets of the truth with your therapist. Because again, it's very hard to shock us. You also don't need to lie in order to make us like you or whatever, but also in order for you to get better and to work on the stuff that you want to work on. It's important for everyone to know the facts and for you to come to the table with all of the truth. So it's not really helpful to you long term, and we also can tell. So take that for what you will. Thing number 3. This kind of goes along with number 1, but I feel like it's a little bit different. There is no such thing as TMI in therapy. This happens all the time where I will have clients say things like, I know this is a little TMI, but no, it's not. There is no such thing as TMI. We are in therapy talking about your feelings and your deep dark secrets and your trauma and your childhood and all of this stuff. So like, it's not embarrassing for you to talk about your butt or your poop or your sex life or your boogers, or for you to like cry and have snot running down your front. Therapy is a judgment-free zone. And again, we have seen and heard pretty much all of the things. So like, especially if it's something that's important to you, or like if it's creating feelings of shame, or it's relevant to your trauma history, or it's like sitting on you real heavy and you need a place to talk about it. Like, you don't need to preface things by going like, oh, you know, this is really gross, or like, oh, it's disgusting, like, please don't judge me, I know it's TMI. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not. We've probably had that conversation like 17 times already. It really is fine, I promise you. It's kind of similar to when you go to the doctor. Like, you don't need to apologize to your OBGYN for having a vagina that looks like a vagina. Nobody apologizes to a proctologist when you get a colonoscopy. Like, that's just your butthole. It just is. They look at them all day. Like, it's fine. It really is okay. It's not embarrassing or weird for you to talk about bodily functions or relationships or like the sort of icky squicky parts of being a human being. We get it. Also, like, hello, we are human beings. I poop, you know, I have boogers, I have a sex life. I get it, you know, like we also fart. Therapists are human beings, and we do these things in our private lives too. So like, it's not our place to judge, but also like, please remember that therapists are human beings outside of the office. And so like, we get you, you know, you don't have to say, oh, I know this is TMI. It's really not. And also, if your therapist is TMI'd by that, then like, is your therapist a 5-year-old? Being therapized by a teenager? Okay, this one is like a little bit of an emotional one, so bear with me here. But thing number 4 is that we're humans, and sometimes we think about you in our personal lives. And I don't mean this in a like boundary violation kind of way, but again, therapists are human beings, and so it's not uncommon for therapists to worry about their clients or to think about you, or like, especially if, like, for example, if I know a client has a big event coming up, on the day of that event, sometimes I will have that thought in my head and be like, oh, today's the day. Like, I hope that's going well for them, or like, can't wait to hear how that big thing happened, you know, like, it's happening. I can't wait for them to unpack that next week or whatever. I felt like I wanted to mention this because I know sometimes it can feel kind of impersonal going to a therapist, because we do have to have those boundaries, and it is important. Boundaries are very key and very important for safety. But also know that your therapist sees you as another human being, and we really do care about you. It's important for us to maintain that distance, like I said, for safety and things like that. But it's hard. Like, when we talk about people's lives and their trauma and their stuff, we care about you and we think about you. And so if you really feel connected to your therapist and things like that, please know sometimes there are days where, you know, they think about you, and that, especially like if there are associations with certain things, like a snack food or a movie, or, you know, something that reminds your therapist of you, like sometimes you're in their mind, you know, and like you have also touched somebody else's life in an important way, and like, you matter. And I think that's like a cool part of the therapeutic relationship. So take that for what you will, I guess. Am I getting emotional? Anyways, we're moving on. Therapy has made me soft. Okay, this last thing is a little bit of a ranty thing, which I feel like is an appropriate thing to end on. We fucking hate your insurance too. I promise you, we fucking hate your insurance too. We hate that we have to take money for what we do. I promise you, we hate the money just as much as you do. Unfortunately, your girl's gotta make a living. I've got bills to pay, and I am a sucker for a good vacation. So I have to take your money. It's important. I deserve to meet my needs and make a living, but I promise you that I am not enjoying the process of taking your insurance card and doing the thing where we talk about how your insurance benefits have reset once a year and that your deductible is confusing and doesn't make any sense. We don't like it either. And I know it's super aggravating as the consumer to have to walk through this rigmarole of understanding what a deductible is and what a copay is and why coinsurance and copay are not the same and how it's fluctuating, it's different, and insurance covered it this time but they didn't cover that time, and what's a pre-authorization, and I don't know. Trust me, we hate it too. It's stupid and it's annoying, and this is why I think we really truly deserve Medicare for all. Therapists really should be the #1 people who are advocating for this, because it is such a giant pain in our ass. But please understand, sometimes it's not appropriate or allowed for us to express how much we fucking hate your insurance. But please know, we hate it too. With the burning fire of 1,000 suns, we fucking hate talking about insurance's money as much as you do, but we gotta talk about it. So, you know, keep that in mind. It's an important conversation for us to have, and I think everybody needs to exercise a little bit of patience when we have those conversations. It is what it is, and it's an unfortunate, necessary evil of the process, but hopefully, I don't know, maybe there's a future in which we can move away from that, and like, you know, Medicare for all 20 2024 or 2028. I don't know. Maybe someday. We'll see. So that's it. That's my 5 things. I have to burp. There's no such thing as TMI. Okay, so those are my 5 things. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoy making these. If you guys like them and you want to see more of them, let me know. But yeah, that's all that I have to say. Thanks for coming. If you like this video, like the video and subscribe to the channel. So we have content like this and other fun therapist reacts and educational style things, and I'd love to have you stay. And share the video to help the channel grow and to help each other grow. I'll see you next Saturday. Okay, bye.